Hello, darlings. Welcome to Narc Free Formula. My name's Freedom. Thank you for joining me. In this evening's episode, I wanted to quickly list through the 7 top signs, I suppose, that things are really 100% over between you and the narcissist. Because the reality is that although the narcissist may often control the discard, I don't believe there's any such thing as a final discard. I believe that narcissists will come back and continue to use you for as long as you allow them to, for as long as you make yourself available to them, for as long as you put up with their bullshit, for as long as you believe in them and their lies, and as long as you keep giving them what they want, as long as you don't challenge them too much, they will keep coming back. And it doesn't matter whether it's, a sporadic hoover here and there, or they might shelve you for a few years and then come back later on. It could be 10 years later, 15 years later, that they try and hoover you up again. So the only way that it's ever going to be truly over with the narcissist is when you say it's over. And for me, these are, like I said, my top 7 points for, how I know it's over with my narcissist. And the top one is that, number 1 is that he has no value to me anymore. He gives nothing to my life. He brings nothing to me. The only things that he ever brings is drama, chaos, confusion, doubt, uncertainty, lies, manipulation, con artistry. He brings nothing of value to my life and my reality. Number 2, I don't believe a word he says. Not one word that comes out that man's mouth. Not a word. I don't believe it. Narcissists are pathological liars. They lie even when they don't have to lie. They lie all the time. They, like I said, they might straight out lie, or they might just do half truths. Often they'll do half truths because, the first half is true, so you wouldn't therefore assume that the second half of the conversation is a lie, which is how they get away with a lot of the lying that they do. Plus, they're always telling you, how trustworthy they are and how you would never have to, they never lie. And they probably make a big song and dance about their ex, who's such a liar, and those are the kind of things that, they're subtle, but they do plant seeds in your mind. So you think that he is trustworthy. He doesn't lie. But once you actually take off your rose-tinted glasses and you stop drinking the Kool-Aid, you'll realize that not only do they lie, almost every single thing they actually ever say is a lie. And that they also get a really perverse kick out of lying to you. And when they think that you're believing the lie, that's like, they get off with that. That's just amazing rush of supply and fuel. Right there. The fact that they're conning you and you're believing it, they can see that you believe it. So number 3, when you can see through their lies. As I said, you spend a lot of time believing the lies, but there'll come a point where you can actually see the truth. And once you can see the truth, it's hard to unsee it. You can't put your rose-tinted glasses back on. It's just not possible. So, you start to see the lies. You start to see them, the narcissists, for exactly what they are. Lying, manipulative con artists. And you can't unknow that. You can't go back to pretending everything's okay and that, that that it was like it used to be. There's just no way. You can't do that to yourself. Okay, number 4, when you can decode the bullshit and the projection. So, as we know, narcissists, they talk in riddles, they use word salad, they use a whole lot of what I call dark arts, triangulation and gaslighting. There's a whole lot of things that they do. But when you can actually decode that and understand what is going on, you'll start to, once again, it goes back to the whole thing, you can't unknow what you know. So the more you learn, the more you see them for what they really are. And the more it's impossible to allow yourself to be conned and manipulated. Back in the day when you loved them so much that they could do no wrong, they got away with everything. But little bit by little bit, you start to realize, and it can take years. It literally took years, over a decade for me, and I'm a smart person, for God's sake. It can take time, but the reality is that, once you get to a certain level of understanding, you can't not know it, and it's impossible to engage with the games. You don't want to waste time playing stupid games. There's even just the game of, let's have a conversation. So for example, right now, my ex is trying to have a conversation with me. But why would I bother? Everything he says is bullshit, lies, or manipulation. We're not going to get to any kind of agreement of anything because, part of the conversation is just about giving him the opportunity to manipulate, lie, or abuse me. So I'm not going to put myself in that situation. Why would I put myself in that situation? That's not what a conversation is. So yes, once you're at this stage, like I said, you can decode their bullshit. When you understand the projection. So every time they say, you're mentally unstable, just change the you to I. I'm mentally unstable. Yes, they're telling you I'm mentally unstable. Yes, you are. Or when they say you're a liar, you're a cheat, you're this, you're that. Like I said, just swap the word you for I. Tells everything about what's going on with them, nothing about you. It's all projection, and they all do it. It's quite bizarre. They all do it. All right, number 5, when you no longer want to be with him. For a lot of people, when they first break up with a narcissist, they're still reeling and they're still thinking that what they had was real and that they've lost something, and that, that he's a normal person and what they had was something real and they've lost it and rah. But after time and after understanding, and the more you learn about narcissism, the more you realize what you had wasn't real. It was fake from the very beginning. None of it was real. It was all just lies and manipulation to get what they wanted, which was the fuel. And as soon as you stopped giving them what they wanted, Jesus Christ, how fast do they turn on you? Literally within days, they can turn. They can, and they do. So for me, now, knowing everything that I know, I just have no desire at all to be with him ever again. Whereas in the first couple of months, I would still get caught up in the lies and the myth and the projection of, the relationship, that everything that he said, that he was my soulmate, that we were this and we were that and we were for life, and, all that crap, right? And then he went and said it to someone else within days, weeks, if not days. All of a sudden they were right to die. Hang on, were we right to die? All lies, all manipulation, all fake. And once you realize it, yes, you'll go through some kind of grieving period because, you spent years or you spent time with someone and you thought it was real, but it wasn't. But once you've realized, it's so much easier to let it go. And why would you want someone who's going to con you again? Why would you want them in your life? You don't want that. All right, so number 6, you don't need them. Over time, you will have rebuilt your resources. You will get yourself back financially. You will start feeling healthier when you're not walking on eggshells, and when you're not, when you don't have all these kind of stress hormones coursing through your body, where you literally sleep well, sleep better, where you eat better, you look after yourself better, you have better sex, you have better friends, you have better everything when you're narc free. And that, it heals your body. So you have no need for a narcissist. You're healing yourself. You're bringing all the good things that you need to yourself. All the things that he said he was the only person that could provide, all the things that he said that only he could do for you, all the things that he said you couldn't do for yourself. You're doing all of those things. So you have no need for a narcissist. And the final one is number 7. When you no longer believe in him, that's when you know it's over. And what I mean by that is when you understand that the person that you thought was your partner or your husband or your lover, that person was just a construct. So it was almost like a character, an actor, a performance. So the narcissist doesn't really have a personality. They kind of just piecemeal bits and pieces together. They gauge your reaction, how you act, and how you believe, what you believe about things. They mirror all that back to you, so they can be, I don't know, vegetarian, peace-loving, spiritual, feminist, poetry reading, lover with one source of supply, and then with the new supply, they might all of a sudden morph into a head-banging, muscle car driving, chain-smoking beer drinker who bashes up poets. I mean, this is not an exaggeration. They don't have a sense of self. They literally just create this personality depending on who they're with and whatever's going to get them what they want. You've got to always remember that they are fueled by getting what they want. So the end always justifies the means. They don't care what they have to do. They don't care who they have to be. They will do whatever it takes to get the fuel they need. Because without the fuel, this kind of overwhelming sense of almost like they just don't exist. Without having someone to validate them, this is why they can't be alone. This is why they cannot be alone, and they have to have people around them. And I mean, they can pull in the lowest, kind of the most scummiest losers, absolute dregs of society. They can pull those people in around them, and they will if they need to. They will do that before they'll be alone. I mean, they really don't care. They don't have any standards or any, particular, morals or standards. They just don't care. They need supply, they need fuel, and if you're not giving it to them, they have to get it from somewhere. So when you realize this, like I said, for me, the person that I thought I was with, his mask was falling off at the end anyhow. I had times where he would come home and act like a completely different person because he'd been out with other people, being a different personality to them. And he was aware of it. I mean, he actually joked to me once saying, "Don't you tell them about me. Don't you tell them," because he was acting out the big gangster, this big kind of hitman, pretend to be a hitman from South Australia, quite hysterical, really. But, that was his little facade that he had going on to get him what he needed at the time. And that's it. Once you realize it's all just fake, for me, that's the final key to letting it all go. And so this is how I know that the narcissist and I are through, 100% done and dusted. Never, ever will be, ever again. And I hope that you, darlings, get to this stage, because I tell you what, it's taken me a couple of years, but I am so grateful to be here, because it's just so much better. I can't even begin to tell you how much better it is. You know, all the time when you're with them and you're thinking, you know, they create so much fear in you about what life would be like without them. You know, they kind of make you think that you won't be able to survive without them. You won't be able to provide for yourself. You'll be lonely. You won't have friends or people around you. You can't rely on anyone. You can't depend on anyone. You've just got to, you know, always rely on them. Like, once you get away from all of that brainwashing and bullshit, and realize that the world is actually a beautiful place, and there are people who are going to have your back and are going to look after you, and you are going to be able to support yourself, and life is going to be good. Once you realize all of those things, you'll never look back. So on that note, I'm going to end this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe, share the video across as many platforms as possible if you'd like to help me grow the channel. Thanks, darlings, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.